If you're an active PC gamer, you'll know what I mean when I say that games have become more demanding with each new release. Companies like Nvidia and AMD, and now Intel, are forced to push the limits of their hardware. And an unfortunate side effect of this is higher prices. New things are coming, and the next few months may just change the PC gaming space forever. Hey YouTube, I'm Danny, welcome to the channel. This statement, actually this whole video, applies to all PC hardware. However, graphics cards are what I want to strictly focus on for today. With stock increasing every day, used GPUs flooding the market, and new GPUs sitting on shelves longer than they ever have before, now is the best time to be building a gaming PC. Also, new GPUs are right around the corner, literally. The first card I want to talk about is the RTX 4070. Now, believe it or not, the RTX 4070 is rumored to be released on April 13th, with a reveal date one day before that. I don't know if Nvidia is going to be just dropping the ball on this and saying, hey, here it is. There's no official release of it, but with all the leaks that we've seen on the internet, it's pretty much a guarantee. Even the add-in board partners like MSI, Gigabyte, Asus, those types of companies, they're putting in the software the specs of the 4070. It's kind of like a leak before the real leak. There's been a lot of rumors and a lot of leaks out there regarding the 4070. Now, the most important things are that you probably care about. It's going to have 12 gigabytes of VRAM, and it's going to come in at an MSRP of $599 USD. What does that mean for us? Well, to put things in perspective, the RTX 3070 only had 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and it came in at $499. Well, that was what it was supposed to come in at. Did I ever see them at that price? No. You want to know something else that's supposed to have 8 gigabytes of VRAM? The RTX 4060. There's a lot of rumors on timeframes and everything like that. However, like I told you, next week is when the 4070 comes out. In fact, by the time you're viewing this video, it might already be out. But once the 4070 releases, they're saying April timeframe is the 4070. The 4060 Ti and 4060 are rumored anywhere between May and June to release. There's no pricing or even leaks of pricing yet for the 4060 or 4060 Ti. But I think based on the 4070's price of $599, it's gonna come in at $499 and $399 for the 4060. If that's the case, it makes the most sense because they're not gonna charge the same price they did for the 3060, which was supposed to be $329 USD. There's no way they're gonna charge that price, especially with their increased performance that they're gonna be giving you. My problem is, what Nvidia is doing is kind of a bait and switch tactic. If you follow any of these GPU releases or you've watched review videos or anything, you'll know the specs, so I'm not gonna give you a full outlook of the 30 series GPUs, but the 3060 had 12 gigabytes of VRAM, right? Now the 4060 is supposed to have 8, but the 4070 is gonna have the 12 that the 3060 had last year. Clear as mud, right? My problem is, what Nvidia is doing is they're trying to turn all of the buyers that were potentially going to be a 4060 or maybe 4060 Ti customer into 4070 tier customers. If you're looking to buy a GPU and you're gonna be buying a 4060, say you're a potential 4060 buyer, but you see that it's got 8 gigabytes of VRAM instead of the 12 that the 3060 had, you're either gonna try to buy a 3060 because everybody wants more VRAM these days, but I'll get to that in a second. Or you're gonna jump up to the next price tier category and say, well, I can spend $100 more or $200 more and get the 12 gigs that the 3060 had, but get more performance. Now, I may be wrong. You may still buy the 4060 with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. However, that's a big problem to me. This leads me into my next point. Priorities when shopping for a GPU are changing. 1440p is becoming much more affordable. In fact, you can get a 1440p monitor. I've got one sitting right over there that I did a review on not too long ago. It's a 1440p, 165 hertz, 1 millisecond response time. It's got G-Sync and FreeSync. I mean, it's got all the bells and whistles. And guess how much it cost? $200. But with the increased resolution means more VRAM. We are already seeing the increased demand of games that require more VRAM. Games such as Hogwarts Legacy and The Last of Us Part 1 are really consuming a ton of video RAM. If you're limited by VRAM, you're going to experience terrible gameplay. You'll have micro stutters, you'll have frame rate drops, you might even have images that don't fully render what the scene's supposed to look like. In that case, it's better to have more VRAM than less with the 4060 like I was talking about. Another thing that people are doing when they're purchasing a GPU is they're trying to future-proof their PC. With us spending more and more money on graphics cards, with prices going up on them, people expect more out of their cards. So when they want to future-proof something, they're going to be buying it like a lot of people are buying the 3060 with the 12 gigabyte VRAM buffer because they know that that's going to last them longer with the future games than just the 8 gig VRAM buffer of the 3060 Ti or 3070. So another thing is more money equals more performance. When people are spending more money, if you're spending an extra $100 or $200 on a GPU to get the 12 gig VRAM buffer or the faster card or whatever, you expect more performance out of it. So NVIDIA and AMD and now Intel has to put more R&D into each card. The companies can't justify the increased cost without increased performance. So that's why I said at the beginning, they have to push the boundaries and the limits of their cards. The last thing that's changing as a priority when people are shopping for a GPU is people are no longer just gaming on their computers. People are doing productivity and gaming. When I talk about productivity, I'm talking about creating, streaming, 3D animation, editing, video production and stuff like that. You can do anything with a gaming PC as far as workspace goes. I always say great gaming PCs make great workstations, and it's the truth. I've got a lot of people that commented saying that they use their 3060s. That's why they bought a 3060, because of the 12 gig VRAM buffer. They use those for productivity stuff also. How about you? What do you use your graphics card for? Is it just gaming, or do you do a little bit of workspace creation, editing, that type of stuff too? Let me know down in the comments. I love hearing about that kind of thing. I wanted to cover another topic in this video, and it's that I might have to eat my hat when it comes to one of my recent videos of what I said. I made a video not too long ago about the RTX 3060 and if it's plausible and a useful card to buy in 2023. And I still kind of stick by my statement. It's not a good card to buy new. I don't suggest anybody go pick up a 3060 for $400 or $500 or anything because it's simply not worth it in my eyes. There's so many used cards on the market right now. I'm gonna talk about used cards till I'm blue in the face. Nobody wants to hear about used cards because they're so afraid of them, but I have bought so many used 3060s over the past couple months and threw them into builds right here on the channel, which I've either continued using, given to friends, or sold outright, and they've been great. I've not had any complaints with it. I've had great success with them as well. You just have to be careful about where you buy. The two places I like to buy from are Jawa.gg, which I've talked about extensively already here on the channel. In fact, I'm gonna be building a computer pretty soon specifically for Jawa, but that's for a later date. So if you're not subscribed, you better do so you can catch things like that when they come out. And the second place is eBay. The reason I shop on eBay and Jawa is because both sites have a guarantee with their purchases. It's not really a warranty or anything, but it's a guarantee that will work. So if you buy a GPU and you bring it home and you pop it into your system and it doesn't turn on, Jawa will contact the seller and get your money back. There's a guarantee to it, a couple days, I don't know what it is. You have to check the site. And then eBay is the same way. If you get it, if it's not what you ordered, or if it doesn't work at all, you can send it back. You can dispute it and they will give you your money back or get the product back. There's just a guarantee with both of those sites. So use GPU shopping. It's worth it because you get a good price and you get good performance for that price. Speaking of performance, the performance of the RTX 3060 is great. I'm not gonna lie. I've played with it. I think it performs really well. You can dial settings down and stuff. You don't have to play on ultra settings. You can play on high or medium or whatever. And it is an awesome performer with DLSS, ray tracing support. I mean, it's got the full package. I totally understand why it is the most popular GPU right now. Oh, if you didn't know, the RTX 3060 is at the top of the Steam hardware charts right now. What that means by being at the top is everyone is running a 3060 now. In fact, 10.67% of people that are playing on Steam are using an RTX 3060. Looks like a lot of people decided to make that upgrade. What they've sold off is 1650s, 1650 Supers, 1660s, 1060s, So everyone's kind of jumped from the 20 series revolution and the 10 series up to the 30 series. They all finally made the jump. I don't know if that's used GPUs coming in, people still buying new, a combination of. So like I said, kind of eating my hat on this one. I was wrong. It is actually very viable. But my point is, don't buy them new. Don't spend the money on that. Price matters more than what most people think. My whole purpose of this channel is to find you the best performance for your dollar. And a new 3060 is simply not that. Used is the way to go. Prices of the older cards, new prices will continue to go up. So now more than ever, buy used. If you want to get a 30 series card or a 6000 series card, just buy used. There's plenty of them on eBay, over on Jawa for my US residents, and you can get some really good deals. But if you want to get a new card, wait a little bit. Now I come full circle back to the beginning of this thing, and I'm looking at my script and I'm thinking to myself, what did I even make this video for? Was this just one big rant? It looks like the entry-level cards aren't really getting the performance bump that they did with the 3060. The RTX 4060, if it's limited to 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and the 4070 looks like it's about a 25 to 30% performance bump, if that ends up being true and the 4060 does have 8 gigabytes of VRAM, the 4070 might be the one that you should purchase. And I hate to say it, what NVIDIA is doing would work on me. If I'm gonna purchase a 4060 and it has 8 gigabytes of VRAM, I'm just gonna jump up to the 4070 and get the 12 gigabytes. Because I'll get better performance, more future proofing for a little bit more money. I know $100 seems like a lot, but in the realm of the GPU purchase, it's really not. Who knows, maybe NVIDIA will decide to throw 16 gigabytes on the 4060 instead of the 8 gigs. Wouldn't that be something? If you find it difficult to keep up with all the latest PC hardware releases, make sure you subscribe to the channel below. I know I already said it, but I like to cover all this stuff here on the channel anyways. I decided that I want to do videos like this more frequently and just kind of turn on the camera, talk about what's coming up and the articles that I've been reading, and just kind of put it out there for you for a quick 10-minute or less video that you can understand pretty easily. So like I said, the PC space is changing fast. Will you be able to keep up? As I always say, I'm Danny with Danny's Tech Channel, and I'll see you in the next one.